Right, you guys, and welcome back. Let's give it a little quick talk about what we're going to do next. We've got this here all done inside. Looks really nice. Nice smooth finish. Color looks nice. Got a little bit dry up here. Usually happens next to the window, but I usually kind of angle the gun. Instead of spraying it straight this way, I'll usually turn it a little bit and do it that way. It'll give it a little bit heavier on there, but what happens then is sometimes the curtains start to come down, guys. So you got to really watch yourself. Anyway, you got a lot of angles in here, a lot of stuff, you know, that can get in your way. So it's really hard to paint dashes the inside of the car. So what we've got now is to do the outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through here, sand this with a big DA. I'm going to use 400. And you know, like I said, I've been doing everything else with 220. Finish sanding with 220, but we're going to use 400 out here. And the attempt is so that when I spray the outside, I'm going to mask here, okay? But I'm going to use a special masking technique. And I'll show you a little bit later in the video. And we're going to mask here. We're going to keep this a nice wet edge all the way along, and we want color to be continuing through here. So I don't want to use a gray sealer on here, because the gray sealer will, you'll see that little bit of gray overspray along here, and I don't like that. I don't want that to look that way. It's not that, you know, it could be done with sealer and be all right probably. Or I could have used, I thought about, I could have got foam tape. But even foam tape, the very edge, you'd have like a little edge. With foam tape, you'd have a little edge of the sealer color, and because you'd see it, and it just doesn't look very good. But we don't want to do that. So we're going to go 400 prep on just this, because all we got to do is this section around here, around down here. I may prep this with 220 down here because I got a little bit of blocking to do over here on the bottom. And this is just some gold paint that I had laying around from using the guide coat. So yeah, that's what this is, this gold paint. It's just guide coat. So we're going to do 400 prep here. Now, the thing to think about is, see all these little holes right here? All those little holes. When you go to spray this, that's going to blow fine overspray inside. So everything inside the car has to be completely covered. And I mean, what I'll probably, because it'll blow through, and even if I just like put paper on here, it'll kind of go up underneath the paper because it'll be inside the door, and it will come up and land on here. So what I'm going to use is something from the sign industry called transfer tape, which is basically 18-inch wide tape. So I use that like all over here, because look, all these little holes, that hole, you can tape it from the inside. You can go through and tape these ones because you can reach them, okay, which is a good idea. Put tape, you know, on the inside over the hole, so it's like that, and making sure the overspray doesn't blow in. Even these little tiny holes here, all that will blow overspray inside, even if you've covered up everything. So you got to double cover everything. I cover everything twice. So I'll cover the whole base of this, and then I'll also still have something stretched all the way across here to keep the overspray, you know, the basic overspray from going in, but the little tiny stuff that goes through these holes, I need to protect that from landing on here to keep this all shiny. So you have to do it that way. If you don't, the whole place, the only thing looks like dull fog inside, and you won't be happy. So I didn't tell you that. So anyway, this here I'm going to do the same way. Cover all this, and I'm going to tape off this whole area, put paint around here, and put like Visqueen, paintable Visqueen over that, or tape and paper. I could use either one. Make sure all my seams are taped up, all that. See, even these little holes right here, paint's going to go through there and create fog inside there, and it's all going to land on there and make a mess of overspray. So anyway, we'll start out with just sanding. That's the whole goal right now. We're going to use the electric DA, and we're going to go through all this with 400, blast it out, and then we're going to go through by hand and use 400. All right, so let's do it. One of the guys commented that he uses single stage urethane as a base coat, and that's another way, if you're good enough with spraying. The problem with the good and bad about that, let's just talk about it, because you can do that. You could use single stage urethane as a base coat, and then you can go over 220 scratches, and it'll usually fill it in really good. Okay, the good part about that is you don't have any issue with the sanding scratches, the problem with it is that if you get dust in that base before you get to the clear, you can't really just sand it out. So you end up with, because like, let's say I go through and I base everything, and then I go to put clear on. If I see a bunch of dust in the base, I'll sand it out real quick and respray it. Where if you use a single stage urethane, you gotta put those metallics on even. And so that's more of a real experienced painter technique. We're going to probably do that on the brown pickup truck that we're going to paint up here in a minute, not long after we get done with this. And the reason I'm going to use that, because I looked up the price of the base coats, and they're just so expensive in that dark brown, or the brown color, because it has a lot of gold and red in it, and that's a really expensive color to have made. Probably $500-600 a gallon. And I can get something close in a single stage urethane, like the Kirker brand stuff, which actually is really good. I can get 2 gallons of that for $220. So I may end up doing that. I'm trying to save money on material on that thing. So those are ways you can do. The guy made a good suggestion. He says uses single stage urethane as a base coat, and then he puts clear over it. And you can't just go right into clear over that either. You got to let that base really get to that certain point where it's dry to touch, but not dry where you could sit on it. Okay, and then you go over the clear, because if you go over it too early, it'll wrinkle the undercoat. If you go over it too late, it may not adhere properly. So you got to find that right happy medium when you're using the urethane base. It's a good technique. It's just more advanced, okay? But I'm just going to tell you about it because somebody commented that was a good comment. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. it took all about, I was just going so fast I couldn't film it all. I was just jumping all over the place because there's throwing these pieces in here, cutting them, putting them in here. Covered up 99% of this just so that whatever leaks in here doesn't wipe it all out. And then everything in here that, you know, we're overspraying land that's going to be seen. You know, where there's carpet, I don't care, but in here too. So I just got to put visqueen over this. We're out of daylight. That's how long it was. I was a good 4 or 5 hours just covering everything and sanding, and I've got a little bit more sanding still to do in the morning, and then we can shoot it out. Again, guys, this is really hard to film because I'm on a time limit. If you can see, the wind's already coming up a little bit. Whenever you're painting something outside, you really have to be aware of that weather and stay ahead of it, or it's going to get you. And then it's windy when you're trying to paint something. It makes it a lot more difficult. And like I said, it's going to be 120, 130 degrees inside or more on my paint booth. It's supposed to be 100 degrees out today. So that means 120, 130 degrees inside there. There's no possible way of me painting in that thing. So we're just going to... I've done it before, and that was a few years ago. I'm a little older now. Every year you get older, it counts when you get past 50. So anyway, got to get all these little sanding spots out of here, get it cleaned up. See little glitches in my sanding, and just get everything right, because I mean, I don't have very much more to do. I wanted to have all this done last night, but I couldn't do it. There was not enough daylight, so I ran out of time. So I'm hustling today, and I got all the nibs all primed, all the raw spots, so we can just go right into base and just shoot it. I got 400 grit, a lot slower to sand this, the remaining stuff, but it seems like the best method for this. So anyway, we'll get it finished, prep this out, and hopefully I can bring you in for the painting portion. Well, I got a bit of sanding scratch in it still. That sealer really makes a difference. But I think if I put one more coat on, I mean, I usually like to put 3 on anyway, so I'm seeing some scratch in it. It's all done with 400, but I mean, how much is that's going to show up in the clear? I'm not really too sure. Probably not much, just because it's such a dark color that the scratches might just, if it was silver, it'd look terrible. I would have to sand this with stop right now, just sand it with 800 or something, or put one more coat on and check it, and then just see if it's too sandy scratched, and go with 800 or 1000, just sand it a little bit, knock them down, and those are all things you can do. If you see it, don't just keep going. Stop. Dry stuff down there, I don't care. It's going to running boards are going to cover it. I'm not worried about anything underneath those fender wells. I just wanted a little bit of color on them. That's it. I'm not making those look fancy at all. They're sanded with 220, and that's what they're getting. I'm not trying to make those look good. They just want to make them have something to protect them, and that's it. Because I don't know what's underneath there. All right, let's take a look now. You can't see the mapping that much. I might put one more coat on here. Just reduce it a little bit more. Just put one more coat on. Because the main thing I'm looking for is where the bodywork was, or cut throughs where I use different primer, is that mapping where you can kind of see the outside edge of the work that was done. You can see it here in this door quite a bit. I think I'm going to put one more coat on just to be safe, and then we're going to clear this thing and get it. Well, how does it look? Well, definitely got some flaws in it, but yeah, I had a bug commit suicide in here, and looks like he started out down here, and he ran all the way up to there. And you could say, oh yeah, you know, if you had your boost set up, it wouldn't have done that. Yeah, right. You still get them. Bugs are the same. Little sag back here. Of course, I can't see as good, of course, and I'm trying to put it on heavy enough not to get, well, I had some issues with that, so I went 2.5 turns out. I should have went 3 full turns and full pressure, because I'm just out here and it's not that big, and the overspray is not going to really do anything. It's going straight out to the field, stuff like that. Because so you saw I sprayed this 2 times the last time, and then I got a little tiny curtain just hanging there, and it's done. It's not going anymore, just because I was trying to soak it more. I should have turned up the fluid just a little bit more. I think I could have gone to three turns open, and it would have went on heavier, and it wouldn't have made runs or orange peel. But So it kind of dry sprayed a little bit, even though I was going super slow and I was putting it on really heavy. The clear is drying so fast. Like right now, we just got done spraying. It's dry. I mean, I don't know about that surface there, but this one, that's dry. And that's already, I soaked that. That was like one of the first things I painted, like this apron. First thing I painted. Dry to touch. I mean, drying extremely fast. So if I had the boost set up, it would have been so hot in there, I would have had, the whole thing would have been dry. So that's why I said I got to figure out what's the best thing to do at the time. And shade tree. The shade from the tree helps to keep the panels cool enough. But the booth would have been hot with the booth. So I was like, I didn't have that much to do. I didn't have to worry about dirt that much. There's 10 pieces in this, so it's not that bad. But this side I didn't. So if you can see here, a fine orange peel in it, which is kind of almost a dry spray orange peel, which is a drag. I don't like to buff to cut that stuff out. It should just sand out real easy, but it's real fine. So it's not like dry spray. It's just a little bit of dry spray. You know, like I said, I should have opened it up that extra half turn. Yeah, experience. I mean, I know these things, but you know, it's different when you're in a hurry, you're trying to beat the weather, stuff like that. So you're not really thinking about everything that's going on. You're just kind of trying to hustle. So you end up with a few things, and there's no other way for me to do that here. You know, look at that. It's already dry up there. I soaked that. Here the rubber goes. It's already dry to touch. So yeah, all I did was just go in there, clean my spray gun out. That's it, and that's how dry it is. And we're talking about 15 minutes after spraying it, because it's like it's low 90s, high 80s. Somewhere it's not that hot, and it's in the shade. But if I was in the booth, it'd be 100 and something in there. Believe me, it would have been much worse. So this turned out really good. Am I going to buff it? Probably going to do some buffing. So come back for that. And then we're going to also assemble this later this week. We're going to assemble first and then color sand some. I'll just probably run over the sides, the tops of the fenders maybe. I won't do down the whole fender. Maybe I'll just do the tops of the fenders, the sides a little bit in the open areas. Not going to do the corners and edges or any of that stuff. I'm going to leave that and then give it a quick buff and make it look like a really nice paint job, which it's not going to be, but it's going to look like one, right? Got one little ding in the middle of the door. I missed it. Little tiny one, and that's where it lives. It's going to be there forever. So like I said, we weren't trying to get it perfect, but it does look pretty darn perfect. I mean, not much. In fact, if I color sand and buff that out, you probably won't even see it. It's that small. So anyway, the driver's side door, yeah, it looks pretty damn good. There's no dents in that. And this was dark color. This is like black almost. But this dry spray kind of bugs me. I got to get that a little bit smoother. I just don't like the way that looks. The tops are there, maybe that's okay. A little bit of peel in it. Gets the chrome on it. Probably look good. Yeah. Okay. We'll unmask it a little bit later. Not much later though, because I don't like to get stuff masked up, because it starts to stay on there. You can't get it off. So probably this top part I'll take off right now. Got to unmask it pretty quickly, or it will be on there like concrete. Can't get it off. Take a short break and I'll come back and unmask everything. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Alright, we just went ahead and I just went ahead and put all the fenders and everything back on so you guys can see what we're dealing with here. It's going to look really nice. I mean, just the way it is, it looks good. But if we do a little bit of polishing to this thing, it'll look really, really nice. Just knock down a couple of dirt spots, maybe just like color sand down about right here. And maybe just do the top portion of the door. And maybe the whole door and the quarter. And maybe the top parts of the fenders. And then maybe a little bit down here, I don't know, just not too much. A little bit of the deck lid. Of course, I haven't got that on yet because we've got 2 people. I got to do the spring. And I don't know if I need to put that thing on it. Some guys say that that is supposed to go underneath it. I don't know if I need to put that on ahead of time. This thing here, I don't even know how it fits in there, really. Yeah. I don't know. I'll clean that up, and I don't know, maybe it should be painted black. Somebody said that it should be painted black, but I don't know. It would probably look better if it was painted black. I might paint the gas tank too before we put it in. It's sitting over there, not looking so pretty, so maybe that could get painted satin black and we'll put it back in. So stay tuned, guys. We're probably going to do more to this car. We're talking about just doing this quick assembly so you guys can see what it looks like. Just doing some of the assembly. We're definitely going to put the fender beading in. He wanted to do that. And then maybe the chrome put on. It just, see, like right here, I look at it, kind of died back a little bit, but not much. Really pretty shiny. But if I just cut and polish it real quick, it'll look really good. I just don't like doing it. Prefer not. I just don't like to do all that. It's a lot of work to do a really good cut and polish. You know, say 2000 grit, and sand it, and then hopefully with this darker color, it'll probably have swirlies in it. You're gonna see. So I don't know. It's if I use the DA to sand it, color sand it. So that's the thing about these dark colors. It's really hard to get it nice. I do have a couple of areas I need to sand out that little bit of a sag there. It's not much. There's not many little sags. I mean, there's a couple of little ones in the fenders. And this little ding that didn't show up much. It's really hard to see it. It's like a little, well, the fenders were misshaped, so I reshaped them so that, you know, they were all weird looking because they've been worked and fixed and hit and repaired. Obviously, we saw the welding I had to do to it. This one here's got a rusty spot here. The headlight ring will cover that though, 100%. So yeah, there's all those little things that are here that once you assemble it, you're not going to see. So even just assembled, this car looked pretty good, but we may do a little bit more because it will make a huge difference in the whole look of the car. It'll make it look really, really nice versus nice. I need to get a little sag right there. There's one tiny one right there. And there's one of the fenders right in here, I know. Where it gathers, goes from big to small. That's where you get them. I'll look for it though. Right there. There we go. Little tiny one. And then a little tiny area, kind of a drippy guy right here, which I can be, take a razor blade and scratch it off and sand it, buff it real quick. It'll be gone. You won't even see a trace of it. And then the front of the hood, and that's it. So because I did it all in pieces, it's just a little easier. Watching your spray, you can really manage it better. I didn't get anything on the dash, which is kind of hard. You know, these are hard to paint. There's so many different angles and places to forget where you're at. But I managed to get the dash really nice without doing much. So, and then the top is just a hair dry, and it's a little bit. It's really hard when you have that masked off. You need to be spraying downward, right at the surface. Okay, if you're spraying at an angle like this, this edge will come out dry. So you have to really angle the gun down, but you got paper there, and you're going to hit that paper, and you're going to knock dirt into your paint. And so what I do is what I'll do is to kind of combat that, I will turn the gun, the fan, at a 45, and I'll shoot across. And what that does is it gives a heavier coat there. But sometimes, you know, you'll get a little run. You'll put it on a little too heavy. If you can't really see very good, you'll get a run that comes down and goes right through the dash, and that's a real pain. So it could be color sanded and buffed. I think there's enough on there to do it. Or it could be just edge mask this off and just reshoot the top. I mean, if you were trying to get a real perfect finish, that's how you do it. And it's not a big deal. It can be fixed. It's just like, but if I start looking at every panel, I can find something like that with, you know, something with every panel on here almost, and end up having to redo half of the car. And that's the difference between a really nice job and a cheaper one. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video series on this. We're going to assemble it. We're going to have one more video probably of putting the rest of it together, and you'll get to see the car mostly assembled. Not the top, not the interior. I don't know. We'll see what he comes up with. He's got interior panels, and we're going to do the wheels. The wheels are going to get painted. We're not going to stay that. That does not work. So that's got to go. And we'll. I don't know what we're going to put on the wheels yet. Still in debating on that. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, guys. So I went ahead and did a sample on here of buffing this thing, and it's just way too easy to do. This clear, this is a Euro from Refinish Depot. Sanded this with a DA right here with 2000 grit, wet sanded. This is what it looks like before. You can see there's this peel in it, very little, but it's there. And all I did was just knock it down a little bit. I didn't take like everything out of it. I sanded about that far away from the edge because that looked really good. I just ran over it real quick. So I think I'm going to do the whole car that way, because it just makes sense. It just looks that much better. So again, next video, there's a preview. Talk to you later.